Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from in the world today. My name is Selena Sinclair and I am one of the SITE Foundation Board of Trustee board members for 2021. So firstly, welcome to this first edition of our Corporate inSITEs series. I have the pleasure today to give you the first view, the first information and intelligence that has come out of our first Corporate inSITEs survey. So let me start firstly by thanking our two sponsors for our Corporate inSITEs series, Accor and Abu Dhabi Convention and Exhibition Bureau. Thank you to both organizations for your support in allowing us to bring intelligence through this Corporate inSITEs series to the incentive travel industry. So in order to gather this first series of intelligence, we've reached out to 100 North American-based incentive travel buyers or decision makers to really understand what's going on in their worlds right now. Of course, with the unprecedented closure of global destinations around the world and the complete stop of all international and domestic travel, one might question, is there a future for the incentive travel industry? At the same time, we now start to see first signs of recovery and vaccination programs being rolled out imminently around the world. So what is that doing to the confidence for these corporations to go back to planning their international domestic meetings and incentives? Can we expect incentive travel to be in their plans in the short, medium or long term? These are just some of the questions that this Corporate inSITEs series has been aimed to provide answers to. So our first question on the screen here was really designed at understanding confidence in our industry overall. We asked organizations to please indicate what is their senior management's view towards resuming incentive travel in a post-COVID future. And the first really positive sign of this first Corporate inSITEs survey is this answer, as 93.75% of organizations have indicated that their senior management teams are 100% supportive of resuming incentive travel again. So obviously this is a great result and a first sign that recovery is coming for the incentive travel industry. So of course, understanding that incentive travel is on the agenda moving forward, we wanted to understand a little bit more around what has been the impact of COVID-19 and how is that starting to affect some of the planning that these organizations are now making moving forward. So I think it comes as no surprise when we see that 71% of organizations did replace the 2020 incentive program with another type of reward. But what was quite interesting here is 31% of organizations are still planning to do some kind of incentive program in 2021. But 82%, so of organizations are really committed to plan and travel on their programs in 2022, which really shows us that the real recovery period from our industry is expected more within that type of timeline. The other good data point on this slide is around are organizations permanently pivoting to other types of rewards? And only 2% of organizations did say that was the case. So again, a really positive sign for the resumption of the incentive travel industry overall. So we wanted to dig a little deeper when it comes to timelines to understand the difference in the recovery that we can expect between domestic meetings and incentives and international meetings and incentives. As a reminder, the respondents to this first Corporate inSITEs series are North American-based decision makers. So when we talk about domestic meetings and incentives, we are talking about North American companies staying within North America. And so in terms of domestic recovery, all of the respondents and corporations told us that they do plan to have resumed all of their domestic meetings and incentives by Q2 of 2022. But of course, as no surprise, when it comes to international recovery, organizations did indicate that, it would be well into Q2 of 2022 before quite a number of those would be resuming their international incentives again. and some organizations indicating that they wouldn't be resuming those programs until as early as 2023. So in terms of international recovery, we could expect to really see that happening more towards the latter half of 2022 and into 2023 for most of the North American organizations. So with this question, we started to understand a little more about destination selection and what is the important criteria that will drive destination selection for these organizations in the short term. And it comes as no surprise here, I'm sure, that safety is really the number one concern of organizations right now. And ensuring as an industry, we can provide our corporations with as much information as we have available on the safety protocols that will be in place for their attendees, whether that be during their journey or when they arrive to the destination. And of course, technologies or tools that we can provide that and have been developed in order to help organizations track and ensure the safety of their attendees as they start to build their confidence in the incentive travel programs again. Interesting on this slide also, as I'm sure you've noticed, the least important criteria for destination selection was value for money. But I'm sure we can expect that won't continue to be the case. But it really just shows us just how important safety and ensuring safety measures are taken care of in the minds of the corporations right now. So the last question of this series talks a little bit more about the program content. And we asked organizations to please tell us which of the following will be the most important to the future success of their incentive travel program. And of course, destination selection, I think is no surprise that came in the top three. But what was interesting in this result is contracts and risk management and better analytics are now the most important success factors in an organization, in these corporations' minds for the future success of their programs. So ensuring that we can support corporations in these two areas particularly is going to be extremely important to aid the recovery of the industry. So with that, that concludes this first deep dive into the thinking and mindset of corporations at the moment, and first indications of what we can expect as an incentive travel industry in the short term. We hope you've enjoyed this first series of Corporate Insights. We will continue to be reaching out to this very important audience throughout this year, another 2 or 3 times, in fact, during 2021. To continue to gather intelligence that we hope will help all of you on this call and our industry to start to resume their business and activities again and build confidence in our industry again. With that, we close the first report out on our Corporate Insight series, and we hope you enjoy the rest of Site Night or Night. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.